Rain had a way of finding every weak seam in Daniel Harper's life. That evening it soaked through his worn jacket as he locked the grocery store doors, his shift finally over. He checked his phone for the time and then for a message from his son's babysitter. Nothing new. That meant Liam was likely asleep, clutching the faded dinosaur Daniel could not afford to replace. That thought steadied him as he headed for the bus stop. Halfway down Maple Street, he noticed the stalled car. Its hazard lights blinked weakly, orange reflections trembling in the puddles. Two little girls stood beside it, huddled under a too-thin sweater, their identical faces pale with worry. A woman stood near them, phone pressed to her ear, her posture stiff with frustration. Daniel slowed. He told himself he could not afford to stop. He had dinner to make, homework to check, another early shift tomorrow. Then one of the girls looked up. Her eyes met his, wide and hopeful in a way that pierced straight through him. "Are you okay?" he asked before he could stop himself. The woman turned. She was well dressed but tired in a way that money did not fix. "The car died," she said. "No signal out here. We were driving back from my sister's place." Daniel crouched to the girl's level. "I'm Daniel. What are your names?" "I'm Lily," said one. "And I'm Rose," said the other, gripping her sister's hand. They spoke in perfect unison, and despite everything, Daniel smiled. He did not know much about cars, but he knew enough to see the battery was done. His old pickup was parked a block away. Without thinking too hard, he offered to give them a ride to his place so they could warm up and call for help. The woman hesitated, eyes scanning his face as if weighing risk against necessity. Finally she nodded. "My name is Eleanor," she said. The ride was quiet at first. The girls whispered to each other, pointing at the bobblehead dinosaur on Daniel's dashboard. Eleanor watched him in the rearview mirror more than the road. Daniel felt her gaze but pretended not to notice. His apartment was small and smelled faintly of tomato soup. Liam's shoes sat by the door, and the sight of them made Daniel suddenly self-conscious. He apologized for the mess, though there was hardly any. While the girls warmed their hands around mugs of cocoa, Eleanor made her call. Her voice dropped, careful and controlled. When she hung up, she thanked Daniel again, this time with something like emotion breaking through her reserve. "They're not used to uncertainty," she said, glancing at the twins. Daniel understood that more than he wanted to admit. As they waited for roadside assistance, the girls asked him about his life. He told them about Liam, about how his wife had died 3 years ago, about how some days felt like climbing a hill with no top. "You're brave," Lily said. He almost laughed. Almost. When Eleanor finally left with the girls, the apartment felt too quiet again. Daniel cleaned the mugs and told himself the night was just another strange moment in a long list of them. He did not expect it to follow him. 2 weeks later, Daniel stood in a courtroom, hands trembling. A mistake with paperwork at work had escalated into a charge of fraud. He had not meant to cut corners, only to keep his job. The consequences were heavier than he had imagined. If the ruling went against him, he could lose everything, including custody of Liam. He looked up as the judge entered and felt his stomach drop. It was Eleanor. Her hair was pulled back now, her expression unreadable, authority settling over her like a robe. Judge Eleanor Whitmore. He recognized the twins' faces in his memory, their laughter in his kitchen. Their eyes met for a brief moment. Something passed between them, quick and human, then her gaze moved on. The hearing felt endless. Daniel spoke honestly, his voice shaking as he explained his choices and his fear. He did not ask for mercy. He asked for understanding. When Judge Whitmore spoke, her voice was steady. She addressed the facts, the law, the consequences. Then she paused. The room seemed to hold its breath. "Character matters," she said. "Not as a replacement for law, but as its companion." She ruled in his favor, assigning a penalty that allowed Daniel to keep his job and his son. Relief crashed through him so hard he had to grip the bench. Outside the courtroom, Eleanor approached him. Without the robe, she looked smaller, more human. "I did not recognize you at first," she said quietly. "But my daughters did. They asked if you were the man who helped us in the rain." Daniel swallowed. "I didn't expect. I mean, I didn't know." "I know," she replied. "And that is why it mattered." She told him her husband, the twins' father, was also a judge. A stricter one, she said with a sad smile. They were divorced now, the weight of that world too heavy for their family. She had learned to see people through more than titles and records. "You helped us when you had nothing to gain," she said. "I did my duty today. Nothing more." Daniel nodded, though he felt it was something more. That evening, he walked home lighter than he had in years. Liam ran into his arms, laughing. As Daniel held him, he thought of Lily and Rose, of a rainy street and a simple choice. Kindness, he realized, had a way of echoing. Even when you least expected it.